The next point of education to review is closeouts on jump shots, and we will start with an example of a legal closeout by a defensive player. The highlighted defender, Oso Ighodaro, closes out toward the shooter, Michael Porter Jr., as Porter attempts a three-point shot. We can see that the closeout by Ighodaro is not reckless, and he moves his foot away from the landing space of the shooter, and he avoids making any contact at all. This is a great example of a legal defensive play. Now, let's review an example of illegal contact on a closeout by a defensive player. The highlighted defender, Jalen Suggs, closes out toward the shooter, Tim Hardaway Jr., and there will be contact between the two players. The contact made by Suggs to the leg of the shooter is a defensive foul, but as the closeout was not reckless and Suggs did not move into the landing space of the shooter, this is not a flagrant foul. Now, let's see an example of a flagrant foul on a closeout. The highlighted defensive player, Tyrese Martin, was assessed a flagrant 1 here for his reckless closeout on the shot attempt by the offensive player, Julian Champagnie. The replays show that Martin did not provide space for Champagnie to safely return to the floor. And as the closeout was reckless, and there is clear potential for injury, this was correctly ruled a flagrant foul, penalty 1. The final point of education to review is flopping. On this first example, the highlighted offensive player, DeAndre Hunter, spins backward in an exaggerated and theatrical manner following minimal contact with his opponent, Peyton Watson. As Hunter's reaction was inconsistent with the nature of the contact on the play, a flopping violation was correctly called and a non-unsportsmanlike technical foul was assessed. Watch the contact on this next play closely. The highlighted defensive player, Zaire Williams, reacts to marginal contact with the offensive player, Nikola Jokic, by falling forward in an exaggerated and theatrical manner, flailing his arms out as well. A flopping violation was correctly called here, and a non-unsportsmanlike technical foul was assessed. The next play in this section will show an example of a flopping violation that was assessed post-game, but one that should have been called during the game. The highlighted defensive player, Kelly Oubre Jr., reacts to marginal contact by his opponent, Devin Booker, by falling backwards an exaggerated distance and also flailing his arms and legs out in an overt theatrical manner. Oubre's reaction was inconsistent with the contact that occurred on the play. A flopping violation should have been called here, and a non-unsportsmanlike technical foul needed to be assessed. Next, we will see an example of a play where a flopping violation was correctly not assessed. The highlighted offensive player, Duncan Robinson, attempts a three-point field goal, and the defensive player, Zaire Williams, challenges the shot. After the shot is released, Robinson sits down in a reflexive action, but his reaction is not exaggerated, nor is it theatrical, and therefore no flopping penalty was needed nor assessed here. We will finish the video with another example where a flopping violation was correctly not assessed. Here, the highlighted defensive player, Paul George, reacts to marginal contact with the offensive player, Christian Brown, by going down to the floor. But as George's reaction is not exaggerated and it is not theatrical, no flopping penalty was needed here, nor was one assessed.